See Dick and Jane float? Oh, I love this opening credit sequence. You know, episode 1 with shock and awe really gets your attention. But for me, when I was watching my screeners, and they make the choice not to reveal the opening credit sequence until episode 2, and I think that was smart because when I saw it for the first time, this opening credit sequence made me fall in love with this show. It's just so perfect and so rich and deep. I'm curious to what your reaction was to it. And because episode 2 is a little slower in the beginning, I wonder if maybe this, the debut of this opening credit sequence helps to balance things out a little bit. But again, I'm curious as to what your initial reaction is to this sequence. So Dick and Jane, what a fabulous choice, because it not only captures the 1950s and 60s aesthetic, but of course, Dick and Jane are kids. Pennywise's snack of choice because their fear is especially delicious. This theming, by the way, has also been echoed in some of the posters for the show, which I've also loved. And oh boy, there are more Easter eggs in this opening credit sequence than there are at the infamous egg hunt at the Kitchener Ironworks, which is included in this opening credit sequence. So we're going to go through all of them. We're going to go through all the tableaus, and I'm very excited to again hear your own thoughts and what really stands out to you in this sequence before and after we go through it. So we open on the mascot of Derry. Well, the official mascot. The unofficial mascot, of course, is Pennywise. But Mr. Paul Bunyan, with the town claiming to be his birthplace. This iconic statue is just going up in this very episode where these opening credits debut. And of course, later comes to life to terrorize Richie. As we pull out, we not only see the iconic spire of one of Derry's buildings, which really captures the Derry skyline, I think, but a family having a picnic where one of the boys senses that something is wrong. Yes, that's a theme in these opening credits, that the kids know something is not right in Derry. Then this, of course, is pretty iconic. This is the storm drain, right? But this time it's not Georgie, it's this little girl, and she's surrounded by missing posters for other kids. Also in the background, speaking of Derry's skyline, we see the Capitol Theater, where, sure enough, the Music Man is currently playing. And then Keen's Pharmacy. This is very important in the movies. It's a key location, especially for Eddie. It's where he finds out that his medicine is actually a placebo, or is that a gazebo? What a great joke. Then the old swimming hole, not just a cherished pastime in the movies, but of course in Americana overall. For instance, the opening for Disney's Pollyanna is at a swimming hole. These two boys seem to have some sort of connection. They're deliberately positioned this way, and they're the only two kids in the entire opening sequence that are interacting with each other. Part of me felt maybe it was Teddy and Phil, but I don't see any other kids echoed in this sequence. So I'm curious, what do you think is going on here? I mean, it's an undeniable choice by the show. This is revealed as we pull out further to be Derry's kissing bridge, also seen in the movies. And as we pull out even further, there's Pennywise with his telltale glowing eyes, and where else? The sewer system, tempting young boy with quite the lollipop, right? Then yikes, we find ourselves at the Juniper Hill Asylum. Do mental institutions take kids? Well, it is Stephen King, right? That's a lobotomy they're about to perform. Ooh, I hope that's not in Lily's future. I guess this kind of looks like Lily, speaking of referencing kids on the show. And as we're seeing on the show, she's in and out of Juniper Hill like a Batman villain in and out of Arkham. And Juniper Hill, oh, that could be interesting. And Juniper Hill, speaking of villains in mental institutions, that's of course where Henry Bowers ends up, but it's also featured in a number of Stephen King stories. It's like Shawshank is the prison of Stephen King's world. Juniper Hill is the mental institution. Then we find ourselves at the house on 29 Neibolt Street. This is where Pennywise lives, pretty much. And sure enough, there he is in the window, looking at a family that's maybe about to move in, but not for long. Ooh, look, red balloon. But yes, there's a nuclear bomb going off behind them, not only visually mimicking how we see Pennywise, in that sequence in one of the movies, right? but also, of course, playing into the very real fear at the time of nuclear war, particularly for kids, well, for everybody. But, they were giving kids these crazy false promises about what would keep them safe. And on that note, there's Bert the Turtle in the corner telling you to duck and cover. Some of you pointed out that Lily ducks and covers in the theater in episode 1, and that might be what saved her. So maybe Matern's already weighing in and helping these kids. Now, these kids in the tableau in the classroom are naturally terrified, right? No matter how happy their teacher looks, they it's really scary stuff. But what's scary in that very room, which one boy has noticed, is that the teacher seems to have an assistant at the projector, Pennywise. All right, for the next 2 tableaus, these are particularly important. Here, Pennywise isn't just lurking, he's joining in on the fun with the firing on the Bradley gang. Now remember, Pennywise reemerges to feed every 27 years, 2016, 1989, 1962, and then prior to that, 1935 and 1908. The Bradley gang is from 1935, and the Muschettis have said they hope if they can continue on with this show, they'll continue to go back in time, with each season focusing on one of Pennywise's feedings, right? So this season 1 is 1962. So if we get a season 2, it would be 1935, and we would see the Bradley gang, that whole situation play out. Basically, though, the story goes that the gang was terrorizing Derry, so several of the townsfolk finally decided to take matters into their own hands and turn the guns on them. The story also specifies, though, that while they were firing on the Bradley gang, several of the townsfolk thought they saw a clown standing right next to them, also firing, probably encouraging them to do it, right? It's all Pennywise. And in fact, one townsfolk said they thought they saw him near a window, which is what's depicted in this tableau. And then, of course, the Bradley gang, that's referenced in episode 2 in detail. So if you want to talk about that, I don't want to spoil it here. Be sure when the episode is over to check out my breakdown where we talk about what's well, you'll see. All right. So then finally, the Kitchener Ironworks explosion. This incident was spotlighted in the first It movie when Ben was doing his research on Derry in the library. And not only did Pennywise, turn one of the history books into like that gruesome flip book, but then he made some smoking Easter eggs and that headless boy appear to terrorize Ben. So yes, back in 1908, the Pennywise feeding time prior to the Bradley gang and what would be potentially a season 3 for this show, the Kitchener Ironworks exploded during an Easter egg hunt for the town, killing 88 children and a number of adults as well, which you see depicted here. By the way, this is the same time that Bob Gray came to Derry with the circus, and there's his Pennywise the Clown wagon from the films parked right outside. Oh, very exciting. They really have to wait until season 3 to get into the history of Pennywise. We'll see if they come to regret that decision. We'll see. All right, so then the It logo comes up, and of course, followed by very, very much of the time, a postcard, which is not only lovely, but to the Derry Tourism Bureau's credit, very accurate to what the town's actually like, right? And I got to tell you, I think some people would see that postcard and say, let's go. Do you feel that way? What do you think of these opening credits? Do you think not everybody loves, that kind of Americana, in the past, like for instance, Mad Men did not do particularly well in the ratings. So I'm curious to see if people connect to this as strongly as the Muschettis have. So what do you think? And what about these illustrations has stood out to you, particularly now that we've discussed it? Share your thoughts down below, subscribe today, and of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.